This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion news updates here on the channel as we get set to go over the latest recalled players here for the Edmonton Oilers over the past hour. As we continue to get set, you're going to see the graphic load in here, and you know exactly what this is if you were in the live stream last night. It'll show you a big time 6-3 victory for the Edmonton Oilers over top of the LA Kings to send us back to LA with a series lead and a chance to clinch on Saturday night. So friends, that's where we find ourselves entering action tonight. Enough yammering on about that. Let's get to this so as we can get out of the way. Oh, I teased it there for a second. If you're new to the channel, I want you to consider hitting that subscribe button here on Dolynny TV. I want you aboard for Game 6. I want you aboard for the rest of these playoffs, right? Game 6 isn't the end of the line at this point, so I want you aboard for everything coming down the pipe the rest of the way here through these NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. All right. What do we need to know? Well, maybe I should load up that graphic there that I was talking about, the Oilers' latest roster recalls here from the Bakersfield Condors, right? We remember just a few days ago the Condors were eliminated from the AHL playoffs by the Abbotsford Canucks. And just to get over here, we'll get moving over here and cue it up right now for you. It's 28 minutes ago, so I'm a little bit behind, but hey, don't blame me. I was on the road until about 5:20, so I'm doing pretty good. It's 5:31 as I record right now. Defenseman Let's try that again. Okay, let's try that again. Defenseman Markus Niemelainen has been recalled from the Condors. Defenseman Dineen also recalled, and forward Brad Malone. So the big part here, what kind of mystified me seeing this was the fact that a guy like Raphael Lavoie hasn't been recalled. A guy like Xavier Bourgault has not been recalled. And I'm like, hey, why not? Well, you look at that list there. Let me flash that up one more time for you. I'll just stay over here for a brief moment. Is Niemelainen has NHL experience. Dineen has NHL experience, and so too does Brad Malone, who also has playoff experience for the Edmonton Oilers. So this is, again, adding to that group of players that'll sit on the bubble of this team the rest of the way home. So we hope, right, there is always an event that they could get into the NHL playoffs if an injury were to occur. But as it currently sits, Niemelainen is number 8 on the depth chart in terms of getting into an NHL game. Dineen is number 9, right behind, obviously, Nurse, Ceci, Bouchard, Ekholm, Kulak, Desharnais, Broberg. That's how you get to 8 and 9. Brad Malone is, at this point, if Devon Shore's on the roster and can't even crack the starting 11, well, Brad Malone's already been down there quite a bit. And you got to think, too, there's a Dylan Holloway in between him and Shore, or ahead of him and Shore as well. So the Oilers, just in this move, are essentially getting everybody up here for playoffs, making sure everybody's available and ready to go if in case of something happening, they need them at that point. So that's where we're finding ourselves right now. And obviously, too, this is a nice little thing to see, right? All these players recalled. I think what I've missed is goaltenders Ollie Rodrigue and Calvin Pickard have both been recalled from the Condors as well already. So both goaltenders are up here as well. Basically, the Oilers are going with everybody available in case of emergency kind of deal for these playoffs at this point. And the big part is, right, it's a reward for these guys, right? They get that recall at the end of the year. They know the organization is thinking about them, and they kind of get that pat on the back. Hey, you know what? The Oilers value me as a player and want me around just in case. And obviously, everybody's dream is to chase the Stanley Cup, or whether you're a guy that plays in the minor leagues your whole career, or whether you play in the NHL and win a couple Stanley Cups, you still want to chase it after that. So for Dineen, Brad Malone, Markus Niemelainen, do we see any of them in a game? Well, you maybe have to go back and ask the 04 Calgary Flames about best case scenarios and worst case scenarios, because they know something about that worst case scenario situation. They would have liked best case scenario. But, right, injuries strike at unpredictable times. You look at what Boston's dealt with to start this series against Florida. You look at what Tampa's been dealing with. You look at kind of what everybody goes through in the course of a playoffs. And you kind of look, the Oilers have had some scares. Don't kid yourself. The Oilers have had some scares. The Kings have been banged up early in the series and now late in the series with Lizotte being out. It's one of those things. And, of course, Drew Doughty took a big puck to the knee last night, too. So there's a ton going on here in the playoffs that when you look at these guys, right, you don't think they're going to factor in. You don't hope they're going to factor in. You just kind of hope your stars stay healthy and you go out there and do this. But this move right here does exactly what it's designed to do for the Edmonton Oilers. And I think I'm breaking it down way too much, but this is the only offering you're getting from me tonight, so I might as well make it with your time a little bit here and at least over-explain the complicated, easy stuff. Brad Malone, we needed him in the playoffs last year, right? A couple guys got banged up in that Colorado series. Brad Malone played his first NHL game in the playoffs since he played for Colorado way back in like 2015. That's a thing that happened last year. Markus Niemelainen, he has been a great guy in that pecking order of defensemen for the past 2 years. He's been an integral part of, in case we need him, we have him. And it's great to see him again be there in case we need him, right? Number 8 on that depth chart. So if anyone needs to slide out, or if the Oilers just really need to beat up on a team in a series, right? Say going into game 1 against the Vegas Golden Knights, and this is hypothetical, but you want to beat up on them real bad, right? Would you throw Philip Broberg out there? He's a big kid, but right, he's still got that smaller body despite the big size. Whereas Markus Niemelainen is gonna hurt you, and guess what? The best part for him is he is rested, right? He's rested. So if things push comes to shove in game 1 and you want to go big, you can go with Markus Niemelainen now. And I think a lot of Oilers fans aren't necessarily scared about that. We know what Niemelainen is. We know how we need to deploy him, and I think we know Jay Woodcroft knows what he has to do to get the best out of Markus Niemelainen, so we're not at all worried about that. Cam Dineen, great little offensive weapon option if you want to see a little bit of a different dynamic in that 7th D-man role. Again, that one will probably take some injuries, but a great reward for him being part of that Michael Kesselring, Nick Bjugstad trade. Now you've got both pieces of the Nick Bjugstad trade on the NHL roster for these Stanley Cup playoffs. That's a pretty big trade win for the Edmonton Oilers. Plus, he got signed to that contract for next year, so there's a little bit more there as well. And then forward Brad Malone, right? Brad Malone is kind of playing out his days. He'll captain the Condors. And then I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention this yet or not, so I won't. But there seems to be some kind of bigger grand scheme plan for Brad Malone with all of what he's doing here in the tail end of his career. So, again, just a nice little reward for a guy that has served this team. I mean, Brad Malone has been around with the Edmonton Oilers as long as I've been doing this Edmonton Oilers thing here on the channel. So that's the crazy part too. Brad Malone has been up, down, all around with this Oilers team for as long as I can remember and as long as I've been doing this YouTube regular thing here with the Oilers. So just another day, another couple guys get called up, and another great reward for 3 guys that had a pretty big season down there in Bakersfield. Obviously, Niemelainen battled injuries. Cam Dineen, big offensive season. Brad Malone as well battled injuries, but also saw some NHL time and kind of battled all around as he normally does. So, friends, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for being along for the ride today. Like I said, this is long-winded for the purpose of being long-winded because it just simply has to be. It's the only thing I really feel like talking about tonight. I don't know how many of you have watched The Good Place, but trust me, as you get deeper and deeper into The Good Place on Netflix there, you got to just crush it off and finish it because it is such a good rewatch. So I'll be doing that tonight. You guys enjoy your rest of your evening. I will talk to you in case there's any breaking news later on, but if not, we will talk tomorrow in preparation a little bit for Game 6. Then we'll get to Game 6 prep for real on Friday night, and then Game 6 on Saturday. Friends, I am up on out of here.